It's that time of year. Cycling holidays, racing, fun bike adventures are all coming back. And with that, of course, is travel. So I thought, what a perfect time to do a review on the Oru Case B2 mountain bike case. A compact, soft case with hard case features. Now, I mainly travel by car. However, you're in luck. I have a buddy who travels by plane with his bike a crap ton. And with all his experience using different bags and traveling with his bike, I couldn't think of a better person to do this review. So with that said, I'm gonna let my buddy Steve take it from here.
How's it going, everyone? Thank you, Nick, for bringing me on the channel to talk about the Oru Case B2 MTB. My name's Steven Dummett, and I'm a professional coach and facilitator, and I travel all over the Western Seaboard doing what I do all the time. Fortunate for me, I get to bring my bike with me a lot of the places that I go, and this is the main case that I use to do that. There are a couple things that I really love about this case, and there are a couple features of this case that really don't get spoken about out loud that I think everyone needs to know, and we're gonna go over all that in this video. And one of the main things I wanna talk about first is the Oru Case Frame Protection Kit. They really went out of their way as a company to think about protecting your investment before it even goes into their case. Now, I'm sure if you travel with a bike or thought about traveling with a bike, you have your own hacks, and I came up with a lot of my own hacks on how to better protect our bikes when they're in the bag. Nice pieces of cardboard to try to protect your wheels, protect the sides of the case, protect the frame, whatever you can with these. Or your favorite Home Depot ad, let's go get some pipe insulation, see if we can wrap that around our down tubes or our top tubes, maybe even the fork legs to try to protect them a bit. What Oru Case has done is they've done all of that pre-work for you. They have an entire frame protection kit, soft-sided, comes with Velcro straps, and every single piece is labeled. Like this piece is for the crank right here. Every piece says crank on it, down tube on it, seat tube on it, to protect your bike and all of its parts. Even when it comes to protecting your wheels, this is one of my favorite features, disc protectors. Comes in pieces, will fit any wheels that have discs. Huge part. This is a great ad. No more warped discs when you pull them out of the bag because the airline didn't treat your bag so friendly. Let's dive a little bit into the actual Oru Case B2 MTB itself. Now, I fly with my bike quite a bit, and I've used various different cases. And I want to highlight some of the features that the Oru Case has that the other cases didn't have that I really like. The overall size. This case is much smaller than all the other cases that I used to use. So a big problem that I used to face was how am I going to get this case into a car, maybe an Uber or a taxi, wherever I'm going. I would have to think about that a lot beforehand. This case will fit into any small passenger car, any Uber that I ring to pick me up, this case is gonna fit. One thing I really like about it is how small it breaks down when it's not in use. Right now, it's empty and it's just standing here because we're about to load it up. But this case will break down to about 1/3 of its size in height. It collapses on itself. It has straps to hold it tight. It will fit easily under a bed, maybe standing up vertically on the side of a closet. It's not a pain to store and to have when it's not in use. A few other features that I really like were the width of this case. If you notice, the case stands up by itself. A lot of other cases that I've used, they stand tall, but they have soft sides and they just become floppy and they fall all over the place. Once you actually load your bike in here, this case has a set of wheels on the back, makes it super easy to roll around, and the wheels are actually wide enough apart that it doesn't tip over and just try to fall over behind you while you're trying to carry it with one hand. It makes it super easy, so just grab the handle and you can take a walk back and forth. A few other features that I've really come to like about this case, the backpack straps. People don't talk about them enough, but they are a super huge add. What I found is that because I couldn't roll the other cases and they were bigger and heavier, is I would always throw them up over my shoulder. And now I'm holding 50 pounds on a single shoulder, walking at a nice angle, tweaking my back just to get out of the airport. With the Oru Case B2 MTB, they have built-in backpack straps. They come out of here, they tuck away, that way they don't get snagged. Both of them pop out and just hook right into their hooks. Boom, boom. The other one hooks in just the same. It takes about 10 seconds to turn it into a backpack, and then you can just grab this bad boy, and we're taking a walk. One more thing that I didn't mention that I want to make sure I include is the weight of the bag. Empty, I think these weigh in at about 15 to 17 pounds. I'm not an exact science scale guy myself, but what it does is it leaves you about 30 to 35 pounds of bike gear, helmet, nutrition, tools, whatever else you want to throw in the case with it, you've got some room to spare. Now you've probably caught on that I've called this the Oru Case B2 MTB a few times already. And that's because they have two different sizes. They have a B2 and the B2 MTB. The B2 is what they call their road case, and this is the MTB case. They are the same width. The difference is they're about 3 inches longer in the wheelbase and on the diagonal, so you can fit a little bit bigger frame. I'm 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. I ride a size 58 gravel bike and road bike, and I have to use the B2 MTB case to get my bike and my gear to fit. And really, when it comes down to it, I would actually encourage everyone to go ahead and lean towards the MTB case itself, no matter what size frame or what type of surface you like to ride. Whether you have a road bike, gravel bike, or full-blown mountain bike, the MTB case is going to give you that little bit more room to pack your gear, pack other things in there, and if you ride big bikes like I do, it helps you fit that extra bit of frame size. We're about to dive in and break down my bike here and show you how we use the entire frame kit and disc protectors and get everything packed in this case. But there's a couple points that I want to make sure that we make loud and clear for all the viewers out there. One is, if you're going to be using this bag, you might want to make sure that you're a little bit mechanically inclined. What I have found is that with this bag, I have to remove my fork. On all of my bikes, whether road or gravel or mountain bike, size 58, I have to remove the fork. Now, we've tried this bag with a few other bikes of my friends, and I've even seen that a gravel bike that is size 54 still has to have the fork removed. So if you're not mechanically inclined, that's something you might want to think about. Also, if you have a bike with an integrated stem, which I do not. So my stem can come off of the fork, you can drop the fork out, no problem at all. My cables are run on the outside, so that's not an issue for me. If everything in yours is integrated and all your cables are run on the inside, that might not be as easy or even possible for you. So that's definitely one thing you want to consider before diving into this case. Now, I want to share with you all a little bit of my experience traveling with this bag. Now, one of the main things that I found is that it's super easy to travel with. I can carry a backpack or duffel bag on my back. I can have my rolling suitcase in one hand, and I can have this rolling case in the other hand, and it is no issue at all for me to have all of that cruising around the airport, picking it up from baggage claim, getting out to where the Uber is going to pick me up, or the rental carport, wherever I'm going, or luckily, if Nick's picking me up from San Diego. A few other things that I want to mention is that the extra breakdown, I didn't find to be too much of a problem. Now, the breakdown times, it takes me about 30 minutes to prep the bike, and about an equal 30 minutes to put the bike back together with the added removal of the fork. So there's a few extra steps. It's not that big of a pain. However, it is something that you do want to consider. And I do want to add this extra tip. If you're going to use it as a backpack, which I have done a few times, find yourself a bench. It's a lot easier to put this on as a backpack if you have a bench or a curb height or a ledge or something to give you at least like a foot or 2 feet off the ground, and you're not doing a full squat to try to put this 50-pound loaded bag on your back. A couple final thoughts about this case. I love traveling with this case. It makes it super easy and super efficient. I love that I can fit my bike, my gear, my kit, tools and nutrition, everything in this case, and it fits and still gets under the weight limit. Most airlines around 50 pounds, 55 pounds. Not a problem at all. Another thing I love about this case is the ease that I can either roll it, I can carry it, or I can carry it as a backpack. And really, the taking your fork off thing, it's not a big issue as it seems. If it's a concern for you, or maybe you're hesitating thinking about it because of this case, maybe just try taking your fork off in your garage one time. It's an extra 5 minutes on each end. It's not that big a deal. If you're interested in getting an Oru Case B2 or B2 MTB, check out the links below. Everything's there. Now let's dive in and show you how I disassemble my bike. Now, you might do yours in a different order or a little bit different way, and that's totally good. I'm just going to show you how I do it. First thing I like to do is start with the rear wheel. Let's just get it out of the way. We'll come over here, grab our disc protector, sits over the top. Now, when you're using the disc protectors, you'll notice that they are the same size disc. However, you have a little bit longer bolt for the rear wheel. And we'll just set that to the side. Front wheel's next. And again, we'll just grab our disc protector. Nice and safe. And set that out of the way. Now again, this is me. I like to put my axles back in. One less part to get loose, and I think that it maybe helps protect the fork a little bit. Let's move on to the pedals. Okay, both pedals removed. Set them out of the way. Now that we have the pedals out of the way, I come over here and take off any little extras that I have. So for me, I like to carry a mini pump on my bike. I go ahead and remove that too. Now, the next piece that's pretty important to know is that you might have to remove your rear derailleur if you need to make the bike fit in the bag. And for me, with a size 58, definitely something I have to remove. Don't lose that little screw. Now we're ready to start wrapping the bike. What I like to do is I keep my rear derailleur attached to the rear axle, like you see it hanging there, and I just like to spin it up, and then I can go ahead and I can wrap all kinds of padding around it, keep it nice and protected. Next piece, let's protect our crank. Next up, chainstay. Let's get it all padded and together. Keep working our way around. Now's about the time that I'm going to go ahead and take off the bar and the fork. Okay. Once the bar is loosed, pro tip, I like to put the front of the stem back on with all 4 bolts so I don't lose any. Okay. Now it's time to take off the stem. Now, if you've never removed your fork before, make sure you keep a hand on it, because when you remove the top of the stem, it can just come dropping right on out. And any and all spacers that you have, they're going to want to come off because they're going to come off anyway. And just like that, our fork is out. I like to protect my fork with that extra piece of Home Depot. And a little piece of Velcro. Put our Oru Case fork protection on there. And we're ready to go ahead and put on the rest of our protection. Now you'll notice I didn't remove any of the bottle cages or anything like that. Protection will fit right around it, ready to go. And the last bit is we find a way to secure our bars and our fork to the bike as well. Now to do this, I went ahead and just got a couple little extra pieces of Velcro from Home Depot, or you could use a few of the spare Oru Case straps. Both will get the job done. Then we go ahead and secure our bars to the bike as well. Now all I have to do is take my seat post out and I'm ready to go. And like that, your bike is broken down, ready to put in the bag. So we set it in, we grab our wheels, now I'm going to drop my seat post in there, and usually I'll pack up all of the bolts, pieces, and extra things here in a small little extra bag. Maybe you have an extra bathroom bag, maybe a Crown Royal bag. Any of these little things work, but I suggest finding something to put all the small bits, parts, and pieces into, because you're going to need them when you rebuild your bike wherever you land. couple of safety clips. And like that, we're off and running.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully it gave you a little bit insight into the bag. Also, worth noting, Oru Case did just release a new bike bag. They released the Sentinel, which is a much larger bag with an aluminum frame, perfect for those who have integrated bikes or don't want to take their bike apart. Definitely give it a check out. I'm not sure when it's going to be up for sale, but I know they released it at Sea Otter. Again, Oru Case links down below, and if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.